So let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture and go ahead and mute yourselves if you haven't already. And for those of you sitting at your desk, you can have your feet down on the ground, about a hip's width apart, and try and feel the soles of your feet in either your shoes or on the ground. Shoulders are aligned with the hips and ears are aligned with the shoulders. And then imagine your spine is a beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just imagine you're lengthening your spine. Put some space in between the vertebrae. Your mind, just imagine. And bring your attention to the crown of the head and relax your scalp. You might feel some sensation there. Relax the forehead, the eyebrows, the nose, the eyes, the back of the eyes, the cheeks, the mouth, the jaw, back of the tongue. Allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And be aware of your breath sensations. So it's not just the rising and the falling of the chest. You can feel the sensation of the air as you inhale and exhale through your nostrils. And this expansion of the thoracic cavity, the ribs, the lungs. And this is happening in the back and the side and the front. And your belly. Be aware of sound in your environment, just allowing those sounds to be there, whatever's there, trying not to run off and investigate with the mind. And maybe you have, there's some certain smells in your environment. And just allow those to be there as well. And then pay attention to what's going on in the mind. Maybe check in with yourself, see how you're going. Maybe put some space in between the thoughts if they're racing. And just be curious about what's there, trying not to judge. Try and be objective. And then bring to mind all the people of our life, our loved ones, our strangers, and the ones we don't like so much, and recognizing that these relationships are interchangeable. And all these people in our life, they're just like us, really. They're all equal, because everybody wants to be happy. No one wants to really suffer. And everyone has this amazing potential. So think, we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So we start by thinking there is no negativity that can't be purified, and remembering this purification process is psychological. It's basically psychological. So we create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past action. Having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future, and we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we might experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think, I regret from the depths of my heart, having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing the Buddha to forgive us, we're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he has he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we've harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them sometime in the future. And so with the ripening of negative karma, or the ripening of any karma, it's never really clear when it's going to happen. So, you see things happening in, like, perfectly decent people, really awful things happening to them. And it's like, why? Well, karma just happened to ripen at that particular time. So the best thing is to remove these karmic seeds before they do ripen. So then we come to this power of remedy. So this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, and like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe. So then be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is this purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Miboa, Situkaya Miboa, Sipokaya Miboa, Anorecta Miboa, Sawasidi Mimpiata Sawakama Sita Me, Sitam Shiam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sata Ah Humpe, Ambajrasafa Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasafadina Patita, Drita Miboa, Situkaya Miboa, Sipokaya Miboa, Anorecta Miboa, Sawasidi Mimpiata Sawakama Sita Me, Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech, and that includes yourself, because you'll be hearing what you're saying. And then next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. And this arcs around, enters your crown, and fills your entire being. So imagine you walk into a room, you flick on the switch, it's dark, and then the light that comes instantly dispels that darkness. So you imagine this the same. The light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachments, neediness, bitterness, grudges, anger, disappointments, jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shiyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasafa samayam manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita. Trita me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa. Anurakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shiyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of your own suffering, all of our suffering, the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness, forgiveness, wisdom, bliss, and compassion. And next is this purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar. It fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Trita me boa, situkaya me boa, sipokaya me boa, anurakta me boa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shiyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Trita me boa, situkaya me boa, sipokaya me boa, anurakta me boa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Trita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. It's a really crucial one. This is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And without this determination, we're just going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. So this determination or this aspiration to refrain from harming becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So first of all, rejoice in your efforts coming along here. So we have some people who's early in the morning. And then we have, I think there's at least one Australian here. And some of you, it's super late, you know, it's 11:30 at night on the East Coast. So, you know, and then there's the rest of us all in between. If there's anyone here from Europe, it's the afternoon. So, you know, just rejoice in your efforts for coming along. It's fantastic. And then think of, you know, something you'd like to work on between now and tomorrow night. I mean, you know, you can work on the same thing for a month. You can maybe have a theme for a week or a month. Choose something, body, speech, and mind that you'd like to work with. And keep it simple. You know, you don't have to say, okay, so from now on, I'm never going to do, you know, da 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 da, because it becomes like a New Year's Eve promise. It kind of gets broken a week later. So, you know, we don't lie to ourselves. Just do something that's, you know, choose something that's doable, that you can succeed at. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And we can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just do arms. Chanting the names of Manjushri. Oh, we're up to chapter 8, the wisdom of discernment. He is a being who's fully realized truth, reality, its peak, and selflessness, supreme in propagating emptiness, unspoken, teaching both the deep and vast. The Dharma conch emitting piercing sound, the Dharma gong with lasting resonance. Arriving at unbounded liberation, he is the Dharma drum in all directions. Without a form, with handsome form supreme, replete with forms diverse, comprised of mind, with splendor shining through his every form, with all reflections under his control. All right, everyone. So let's just have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, and pray for a swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And then think of all of your own personal teachers, your own teachers. All right, everyone. Good night, good morning, good afternoon. Sleep well, lots of love, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Okay. Thanks for hosting, Shola. All right, bye. Goodbye, everyone.